Greeting travelers, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna tell you about some basic stuff and beginner's tip for your Genshin account. This video is for players who just started playing Genshin Impact. So anyone between adventure rank 10 to 45 can watch this video. So without further ado, let's start the video. So first of all, we'll talk about characters. There are 5 types of characters. One is DPS, sub DPS, buffer, healer and a shielder. Other than DPS, all can be considered as support, since they help the main character to perform better. If you're wondering what DPS is, then let me tell you that DPS stands for damage per second. A non-fielder unit which does most of the damage in your team is DPS, like Kea or Traveler for the beginners. To the next type, we have sub DPS. Sub DPS is an off-field damage dealer like Lisa, Xiangling, Shenchu, etc. After using their burst or skill, they can do damage even if they are not on field. Moving on to the next type, we have buffers. They buff your team damage or your main DPS damage, such as all anemo units which can provide buff to all characters of patch element. Patch stands for Pyro, Electro, Cryo and Hydro. Then there are other buffers which increase damage by increasing attack, defense, elementary mastery, crit rate or crit damage of your characters. Some great buffers are Bennett, universal attack buffer. Put it in 90% of the teams and it works great. Furina and Silonin are 5-star units which increase all over damage. Some special buffer used in special teams like Farazan at C6 used in anemo teams. Albedo and Goro is used in Geo teams. Kojasar at C6 is usually used in Electro teams. Moving on to the next type, we have healers. Healers, as the name suggests, they do healing. There are 2 types of healer. One is which heals only on-field character like Furina and Zelonin. Barbara and Yayo skill also heal the on-field character only. And other who heal whole team like Jean, Charlotte, Baiju and some others like Barbara's ultimate. And these are all team healers. At last, we have shielders. As the name suggests, they protect your character from damage. Some of the shielders are Noel, Layla, Diona, and best of all, Zhongli, and there are some other shielders as well. But later in the game, there will be enemies which can do damage even when your shield is on. So you will ask that, then what's the point of the shield then? So first of all, you will take less damage as compared to you don't have a shield. And second of all, you won't have those enemies everywhere, so 98% of the time you will be grateful that you have a shield. Next part of the video is talents. So as you can see, your character have so many talents. There are usually 5 to 6 talents to each character, in which 3 are upgradable and other 2 can be unlocked after leveling up your characters. First 3 talents are same in all characters, which are normal attack, skill and burst. Rest of the talent are character based. Normal attack has minimum 3 to 4 attacks, charge attack and high and low plunge attack. Most of the time there is no need to increase this talent level because you don't use it in the combat. But some characters are very dependent on this talent, such as Razor, Arlecchino, Xian, Neuvillette, etc. After this there is skill. Skill is very important for every character because when skill hits the enemy, it generates energy particle for your character, which is later used for burst. And the energy particle produced by your skill are not related to your talent level. On level 1 to 10 it produces same amount of energy. Every character you use, you must have its skill up to level 6 or level 8 depending on your character, but level 6 is must on your every character you use. Depending on character, skill can be a shield, a healing medium, an on-field or off-field damage or some kind of buff. At last but not least, we have burst or ultimate. This is your character's ultimate move, which in most cases do either most of the damage or most of the healing. As I said earlier, burst needs energy as well, as it has its own cooldown. If you have full energy but it's on cooldown, you won't be able to cast it. But burst can be of 4 types: DPS, healing, buffing and doing off-field damage. Some of the examples are Noel and Razor for the DPS, Barbara for healing, Bennett for buffing, and Xiangling or Shinchu for off-field damage. Now let's move to the next part. As every character is different, so is the weapon. There are 5 types of weapon in the game, like sword, claymore, bow, catalyst and polearm. Every 1 and 2 star weapon has only base attack, which make them unusable after some time. Then we have 3 star weapons. These weapons have base attack, secondary stat and a passive ability. Secondary stat can be energy recharge, elementary mastery, attack percent, defense percent, crit rate and crit damage, and these weapons have unique passive. Best of 3 star weapon to use on your character are Harbinger of Dawn, White Tassel, Black Tassel, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer, Slingshot, Messenger, Sharpshooter Oath and Debate Club. These are only 3 star which are good for beginners. Best of these are Harbinger of Dawn, which can be used in endgame as well because it gives massive crit rate buff. White Tassel can be used by Arligino and Hutao or some other characters which need crit rate. Black Tassel for Yongli and other healers. And at last we have Thrilling Tales for every support catalyst, because even at level 1 and refinement 5 it gives 48% attack bonus. As for the 4 star weapons, there are great options for endgame. Every character has its own style and on that we have to give them their weapon. In general, for 4 star weapons, you can use Favonius weapons on your support to produce more energy for team. Then there is Blackcliff series. You can buy them from shop for 24 masterless star glitter. 2 weapons are good which can be obtained by fishing. Those are a pipe and the catch, and other which can be crafted, and rest of the weapons are dependent on the character you use. 5 star weapons are great. As compared to 4 star weapons, they generally have higher base attack and better secondary stat. Every 5 star character has its own signature weapon and it can be obtained by wishing. So in the weapon section, it all depends on the character which you're using. If it needs attack, give something with secondary stat of attack percent and a passive with attack percent. Same goes for the character which needs defense, elementary mastery, energy recharge. Look at the character and choose weapon accordingly. Let's talk about domains. There are 3 types of domains. One is one-time reward, second is trounce domain or weekly bosses, and the last one is which can be done multiple times. And this one is further has 3 types: weapon material, talent material and artifacts. Now one-time domain can be done only once in the whole game. If you clear it twice, it won't give any reward to you. Then comes the weekly domain. It can be done once a week. It drops 3 types of boss material which help increase your character talent, and drops a rare item called Dream Solvent, which can be used to convert waste drops to useful drops. And at last we have talent material, weapon material and artifact domain. Every region such as Monster and Liyue has 3 types of weapon and talent books in 2 separate domains, one for the books and other for the weapon material. Depending on the character and weapon, you can complete domain challenge. Since there are 3 books and 3 weapon material, these domains have specific stage for a particular book or weapon material, but on Sunday only you can farm everything at same day. Last we have artifacts. Artifact domain is open daily and one domain contains 2 artifact sets primarily. So it depends on your luck which set you get. Now since we are talking about artifacts, there are 5 artifacts which can be equipped by a character. They are Flower, Feather, Sands, Goblet and Circlet. Flower has flat HP, Feather gives flat attack, Sands has of 5 types: defense percent, HP percent, attack percent, elementary mastery and energy recharge. Then comes Goblet, which is of 12 types: HP percentage, attack percentage, 7 of the elemental damage bonus like pyro damage bonus or electro damage bonus. Then comes defense percent, elementary mastery and last physical damage bonus. And at last comes Circlet. It is also in few variants, 7 in total: HP percent, attack percent, defense percent, elementary mastery, crit rate, crit damage and last is healing bonus. Leveling up your artifact is one of the most important things because 70% of solo damage of a character comes from artifacts. As a beginner, you will get mainly 3 star or 4 star artifacts. 1 star artifact can be upgraded to level 4 max, 2 star goes up to level 8, 3 to level 12 and 4 star goes up to level 16. And at last you will get 5 star after AR45 and that goes up to level 20. Now every artifact has substats. Now max substats are 4. If you have less than 4 substats, then every 4th level up will give you a new substat. Then if you have 4 substats, then every 4th level up will give you a bonus to substat, which will increase the substats value. The substats you can have are flat HP, flat defense, flat attack, flat EM. Other than the flat stats, you can have percentage stats like HP percent, attack percent, defense percent, energy recharge percent, and last we have crit rate and crit damage. Mostly you should focus on crit stats and somewhat on attack percent, energy recharge and elementary mastery. Most of the time defense is not relevant to many characters. Only few of the characters need defense, but they are the very rare cases. Now after all this basic stuff, we start building our characters. Now I'll make 3 teams, that means total of 12 characters, because one team contains 4 characters. But before that, let me show you some of my solo and team damage showcase with fully built characters, so you know how much important it is to build your other characters than DPS. Let's start with Kinich, Huta and the Pyro Archon herself, Mavika.
I got him cornered!
Witness the power. These are about to get sexy. Light it up! Light up the blazing sun! Go in! Bring it! Fulfill our pact! You two! Time to wrap up the sky!
Here, just because of my support providing buff and off-field damage, my team did so better than before. That's why I say never neglect these support characters in your team. Because 4 fully support characters in a team can do better than a team where only a DPS character is built. Moving on to the build section, we have Sitlali having a decent build with her signature weapon providing EM, and the instructor said to provide EM boost to all the team. She's built EM because her shield strength and damage depends on the EM. Next is Mavika, talent level 6, 8 and 10, constellation 1, and weapon is her signature weapon providing crit rate and crit damage buffs. And in the artifact I am using Obsidian Codex and using EM Sands because she does melt reaction, pyro damage goblet and crit damage circlet. Moving on to the Kinich, very similar build, Obsidian set for 40% crit rate, attack percent sands, dendro damage goblet and crit damage circlet. For weapon, Ashika Refinement 5, talents are 2, 10 and 4 and it's on constellation 0 of course. Next is Janfe, level 23 for a reason. Having Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer for 48% attack buff, artifacts is Deepwood Memories to reduce dendro resistance by 30%, constellation 1 and talents are 1, 1 and 1. Next is Hutao, Dragon's for EM and damage bonus, Shiminawa Revenance for 50% more damage on charge attacks, having pyro damage goblet, HP percent sands and crit rate circlet. Talents are 8, 10 and 8. I gave her HP percent sand because her talent scales on HP and she has constellation 0. Next is C3 Shincho with talent level 1, 6 and 11. Artifacts are Emblem of Severed Fate with attack percent sands, hydro damage bonus goblet and crit rate circlet. On the weapon I gave him Favonius sword. Now moving on to Yelan, having Favonius warbow. Emblem set sands are HP percent because her talent also scales on HP. Her talents are 5, 9 and 10. Next is Bennett with Noblesse Oblige set, having ER sands, HP percent goblet and crit rate circlet. Talents are 1, 6 and 13. For weapon I use Sapwood Blade for more base attack and ER. Last but not least, Zilonin with def percent weapon and Hero of Cinder City set with def percent sands, goblet and circlet. because her talents work best with defense, and her talents are 1, 10 and 7. This was it for the video. In next video I'll tell you about stat balance and elemental reactions. Thanks for watching.